Welcome into the Commanders Report. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Today we got a lot of Commanders news and rumors to cover here on the show. First up, Coach Quinn hints at Deebo Samuel's quote-unquote unique role in the Commanders offense. I'll let you guys know what I kind of expect from Deebo this year from a schematic standpoint. Second up, we're going to be talking about whether or not Washington needs to add another big-name receiver to add to Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel for 2025. And then we'll finish up today's show with a couple of names on the wide receiver market that I think the Commanders could consider if they want to add another name to this room. But before we get into the content today, we are almost at 41,000 subscribers here on the Commanders Report. We're just 128 subscribers away, and I would really appreciate if you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. New viewers, we are counting on you guys. The real ones that have already clicked that subscribe button can't help us out here. It's got to be the new people here to help us get to 41K subscribers. And the reasons why you should subscribe is because we got daily Commanders videos on this channel every single day, 100% free. Also, breaking news coverage. So if the Commanders trade for Trey Hendrickson or if they make another move at receiver, we're going to have you covered with a video here on the Commanders Report. Also, weekly live shows every single week as well. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already to help us get to 41,000 subscribers here at the Commanders Report family. Okay, now, so let's get into our first topic of the day, which is Deebo Samuel. And I'm super excited to see Deebo play in this offense. I think that he's going to be a perfect fit for Kliff Kingsbury's scheme. And Dan Quinn recently took the podium and he hinted at using Deebo Samuel in a quote-unquote unique role in his offense. This is what Dan Quinn had to say about Deebo's role here with Washington. That's kind of what's fun about it, adding new people in. The nice part about when you do trade for somebody or in the draft as well, you find these unique things that a player has, and man, does he have them. So listen, man, I do expect Deebo to be, kind of the chess piece and kind of the manufactured touch guy here with the Kliff Kingsbury offense. And according to Dan Quinn, Kliff and Brian Johnson, the assistant offensive coordinator here, have been cooking up some things for Deebo Samuel, saying Kliff and Brian and the guys have certainly been up extra late in the offseason of finding unique ways to get the ball in that man's hands. So I do think that Deebo Samuel is somebody that is going to be used a lot on orbit motions. He's going to be used a lot in terms of early down screen usage. We know how much Kliff Kingsbury loves his wide receiver screens for easy touches as kind of an extension of the Commanders' run game. Also, he can be used on jet sweeps and all these different things. And then I also think he's going to be used as a dig receiver to kind of, give Jaden Daniels that backside option in case his main read with Terry McLaurin and others isn't open. And I do think, you get the ball in Deebo Samuel's hands in space and on those screens and on those digs and on those drags and all these different ways that you can get the ball to him in space. I think that he is absolutely going to be that gadget type of wide receiver that Kliff Kingsbury has wanted in this offense for a long time. And the question, that a lot of Commanders fans should be asking themselves right now is who will be Washington's true number 2 receiver in this offense? Because Deebo's not going to be like a true number 2 receiver. He's going to be moving all around the formation. He's going to be even in the backfield. He's going to be in the slot, outside, in motion before the snap. So you need somebody else to kind of pair with Terry McLaurin as like another true receiving threat. And right now it appears that answer is going to be Noah Brown. And then it could be Luke McCaffrey. It could be Jalen Lane as well. Those are 2 younger receivers that this team has drafted in the middle rounds. But they did re-sign Noah Brown this year. And I think that he's a big question mark heading into the season. Should they trust him to be that legitimate number 3 receiver with Deebo Samuel doing all the unique things he's going to be doing in this Commanders scheme? You take a look at Noah Brown and the numbers that he has put up over the last several seasons. He's had a tough time staying fully healthy for the entirety of a season. He certainly has had an injury history. Last year, as you'll remember, he got injured last year as well. He played in 11 games, had 453 yards in this offense, averaged almost 13 yards per reception, and had a touchdown with Jaden Daniels. He showed some really good things in this offense last year, and he's been a guy that's been hovering around that 500 yard mark for the last 3 seasons or so. So he's a big play threat. He's a big body. He's a decent route runner. He is, the definition of kind of a mid-level kind of star starting, secondary wide receiver in the National Football League. And my guess is that because they spent a 5th-round pick on Deebo Samuel and because they're likely going to give Terry McLaurin that massive contract extension at some point this offseason, that they're probably going to roll with Noah Brown. If I'd had to guess right now, I don't think they add to this receiver room. I think they're cool with the guys that they have in that group right now, and they probably won't add to it before the start of the 2025 season. But coming up here, I'll let you guys know the top wide receiver targets that I would consider, including we're going to talk about an article that suggests the Commanders should go out and trade for Tyreek Hill. All right, so we'll talk about that possibility here in just a moment. But first, let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Should the Washington Commanders add another wide receiver this offseason, or are they good? Give me a yes or a no down there in the comments section for today's pinned question. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds, and I'm going to tell you about our sponsor today at Fanatics. When I'm talking about Fanatics here, go down there and give me a yes or a no to today's pinned question. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Fanatics, where you guys can get a Deebo Samuel jersey. If you're just as excited as I am to see Deebo play in this offense, and he's wearing that number 1, I think he's going to look damn sharp in that number 1 jersey this year with the burgundy and gold. So go to chatsports.com/Deebo if you haven't already to pick up a Deebo Samuel jersey for yourself. It also helps out the channel because every time someone clicks that link, chatsports.com/Deebo, it's in the comments and description of today's show, and somebody makes a purchase, Fanatics sends us part of the proceeds here at the Commanders Report. So if you want to help out the channel and help yourself out by getting a brand new Deebo Samuel jersey, go to chatsports.com/Deebo to make it happen. So let's talk about this article from Douglas Fritz from Clutch Points here, who suggests that instead of trading for Trey Hendrickson, the Washington Commanders should trade for Tyreek Hill, superstar wide receiver from the Miami Dolphins. This is what Douglas had to say in his article. If the Commanders don't pony up the trade capital to get Henderson, they better plan to outscore people. And that means their offense needs one more element of explosiveness. The Commanders are solid at wide receiver with Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, Noah Brown, and Michael Gallup. But adding a third element like Hill to McLaurin and Samuel could put Washington over the top. Now, I actually talked with our Dolphins host here at Chat Sports, Nick Roloff, and he told me that he would trade Tyreek Hill away for a 3rd-round draft pick. All right, so to me, a team that's trying to win now, like the Washington Commanders, adding an explosive wide receiver like Tyreek Hill for just a 3rd-round pick in terms of player on paper and then trade value on paper, I think that is an absolute steal for the Washington Commanders if they wanted to do something like that. But the problem is Washington doesn't really have a lot of draft capital in next year's NFL draft. And if you give away a draft pick, like you're giving away, your power to make picks in certain sections of the NFL draft. Like if you give up your 3rd-round pick next year, guys, as you guys can see here, you don't pick again after round 1 until round 5. So that's no picks from rounds 2 through 4 if you trade away your 3rd-round pick next year for Tyreek Hill. So that is something that I'm not willing to do. And I think that if the Commanders want to make something work here, I think they can. You guys can take a look at this trade idea here for Tyreek Hill. This is what I would put together if I were the Commanders and I was really interested in putting together a package for Hill. And I'm not even saying the Dolphins would take this. This is just what I would offer. But I would do a pick swap in 2026. I would give the Dolphins the Commanders' 3rd-rounder, but we get their 4th-rounder back, so the Commanders aren't losing any picks in terms of the total number of picks next year. You also give the Dolphins your 4th-round pick in 2027, and you also give them Noah Brown, because if you're adding Tyreek Hill, do you really need Noah Brown on this roster anymore? You can certainly argue no. So let me know what you guys think about this trade idea down there in the comments section. A for accept or D for decline. I think on paper, this is a steal for a guy like Tyreek Hill, who, when healthy, is still arguably a top 5 receiver in all of football. He does come with some off-field baggage, obviously, so you have to take that into account as well. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. A for accept or D for decline. Then 2 other options the Commanders, I think, could consider on the free agency market, because I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense to trade for a receiver unless it is like a Tyreek Hill type of talent. But free agents, you don't have to give up any draft capital for, right? So Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper are two veterans that are probably going to want to go to win now teams, and I think could really help this Commanders squad in 2025. You look at Keenan Allen back in 2023, 2 seasons ago with the Chargers, he was still putting up over 1,200 yards, almost 100 yards a game, and 7 touchdowns and over 100 receptions. I mean, this guy was absolutely a legit number 1 receiver just 2 years ago, and then last year the numbers did dip with Chicago, but you have to take into account that entire offensive situation in the Windy City last year was a complete disaster. DJ Moore, who had like 1,300 yards the year prior with Justin Fields at quarterback, mind you, went all the way down to like 900 yards last year in that Bears offense. So Keenan wasn't the only one to see a dip in production. He still had 70 catches, and he was still a very good player for that Bears offense. And then Amari Cooper's another guy that had a phenomenal 2023 season, and almost 85 yards a game, over 1,200 yards and 72 catches with 5 tuds. And then last year just kind of fell off a cliff a little bit, had a little bit of a drop issue that you were not used to seeing from Amari Cooper, and that's why the Browns traded him away to the Bills. And then, he had some production there in Buffalo, but it certainly wasn't enough, or it definitely wasn't what the Bills were expecting when they sent a high draft pick to the Browns in exchange for his services. So both these guys are a little bit older. They did see a dip in production last year, but if I had to choose between both of these guys, or you pick one or the other, I'd pick Keenan Allen, because I think in a competent offense like the one Kliff Kingsbury runs here in Washington, I think he could be an awesome addition. If you're looking for that kind of true, versatile route running type, veteran savvy type of player to put on the other side of Terry McLaurin, I think that he is perfect for that role, and I do think he's an upgrade compared to Noah Brown in that role in the Commanders offense. So I would love to add him, and that'll be it for today's show, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already, because we got more Commanders content coming your way all throughout the weekend. And until I see you guys next time, hail to the Commanders.